Ella had lived in Manchester long enough to know how silence clung to old flats after someone left them. The Victorian terraces, with their high ceilings and drafty corners, swallowed noise whole, leaving only the hum of distant traffic and the occasional rattle of pipes. Still, she wasn't prepared for how loud the silence would feel when Daniel was gone. The crash had been sudden, stupid. A wet road, a lorry that didn't stop soon enough. He was there one morning, drinking tea, humming tunelessly in the kitchen, and by nightfall there was only paperwork, condolences, and the smell of his cologne on the jumper draped over the sofa. In those first weeks, Ella couldn't bear it. She left the radio on, a talk station filling the flat with voices she barely heard. She fell asleep to the mutter of late-night presenters and woke to the hiss of static. Anything was better than that vast, echoing quiet. On the windowsill sat their favorite photo, Daniel Midlaff at a cafe in Camden Market, eyes crinkled, arm tugging her into the frame. Each evening it caught the light as the sun sank behind the terrace roofs across the road. She liked that, the way he seemed to glow, just for a moment, as though the world hadn't quite forgotten him either. It was a month after the funeral when the light began to change. The first time, it wasn't just a shimmer, but a pulse of warmth, like a heartbeat in the glass. Ella froze, her skin prickling as the air grew heavy with something alive. 2 nights later, curled under Daniel's jumper, with rain hammering the windows, she whispered, "I miss you." The shimmer flared threads of light weaving into a faint outline, shoulders, head, a body leaning toward her. A low hum vibrated through the room, too soft to place but unmistakably his. Her breath caught. Fear skated across her skin, but stronger was recognition. The tilt of the head, the way the figure leaned toward her voice, that was Daniel. "You're still here." The figure didn't speak. Its edges shimmered, and a faint warmth brushed her cheek, like a sigh. Then it raised a hand, 2 fingers touching its temple in his familiar goodnight gesture. The hum faded, and the figure dissolved into the dim glow of the street lamps outside. Ella wept. For the first time since the accident, the tears weren't only from despair. She told Sophie once, over pints at a noisy pub near Oxford Road. Sophie had been Daniel's closest mate from uni. They'd shared essays, hangovers, and later a flat above a kebab shop in Fallowfield. Sharp-eyed, with a voice that cut through noise like a blade, she'd made a habit of checking in. "It's like he's still here," Ella said, twisting her glass. Not creepy, just watching. Sophie's face softened, but her voice was firm. "Grief plays tricks. If you cling too hard to the dead, you stop living yourself. Doesn't mean you're mad. Just means you loved him." Ella nodded, but inside she thought, "No, it's him. I felt him." Her sister Hannah had a different way of helping. Where Sophie circled gently, Hannah barged straight in. One Saturday, she arrived with bulging grocery bags. "You can't stay in limbo forever," she said, unpacking. "He wouldn't want you stewing." "I'm not stewing," Ella muttered. "Marinating, then." Hannah paused, eyeing the photo on the sill. "You still talk to him, don't you? What's wrong with that?" "Nothing," Hannah said more softly. "Just don't forget the living Elle." She squeezed her shoulder. That night, when the shimmer returned, brighter now, the hum threading the air, Ella whispered, "See? I'm not imagining you." The outline tilted its head, the air pulsing as if in answer. A trace of his cologne drifted past, fleeting but unmistakable. By April, daffodils brightened Whitworth Park, and Ella forced herself to walk there often. Students sprawled on the grass with cans of cider. Children kicked footballs against the trees, and the city felt alive again. She even laughed once, properly, with Sophie over a disastrous date story. The sound startled her, but it felt good. Then came the night of the fright. The flat felt colder than usual, a chill seeping beyond the drafts into her bones. The air grew thick, charged with a static hum that set her teeth on edge. When the shimmer came, it wasn't gentle. The light tore into shape, jagged, as if clawing through an unseen barrier. The figure's head snapped toward her, too fast, unnaturally sharp. Its form flickered, unstable, a distorted hum filling the room like a radio caught between stations. Ella gasped, stumbling back, chest tight with a sudden fear of losing him again. The lamp flickered and died. For a heartbeat, the figure's face emerged, angles wrong, eyes like embers, burning with desperate intensity. A gust of cold swept through, carrying a fractured whisper. Her breath froze, and then it was gone. The next evening, the shimmer returned, soft, familiar, its hum gentle again. It raised Daniel's goodnight gesture, but a faint tremor lingered in its outline, as if strained. "Don't do that again," she whispered. The figure pulsed once, almost apologetically, before fading. And for the first time, Ella wondered if Sophie had been right, if holding on came at a cost. Summer softened everything. Hannah dragged her to Brighton for a weekend, insisting sea air cures all things. Sophie teased her into pub quizzes, even when Ella sulked through the first rounds. Slowly, she let herself be tugged back toward life. But she always returned at dusk. And sometimes, Daniel was waiting, his shimmer stronger, the hum clearer, carrying fragments of his voice, a murmur, a half-formed laugh. By September, she was ready to box up his books. Her hands shook as she slid each one into cardboard, but she managed to close the cupboard without breaking down. That evening, the flat glowed brighter than ever. The figure was almost solid, Daniel's crinkled eyes, his crooked smile. The hum swelled into a melody, one they'd danced to in the kitchen years ago. A warmth wrapped around her, like an embrace she couldn't see. He raised his hand. "Good night." "I'll be okay," Ella whispered, and for the first time she meant it. The figure lingered, its light pulsing as though nodding. Then, with a final soft hum, it dissolved into the dusk, leaving only a trace of warmth in the air. After that, the shimmer never came again. But Ella no longer feared the silence. Hannah still barged in with groceries, Sophie still dragged her 2 pints, and Ella let herself laugh more freely now. Yet each evening, as the light caught the photograph, she paused, smiled, and whispered into the quiet, "Good night, love."